Hi everyone, it's Rhonda. Welcome back to my channel. Today is my Chapter 1 Papers Design Team project, and I used the Embroidery Patterns kit, and I will list the kit below. I hope everyone is doing well today. This project is kind of like a folder or holder or booklet, whatever you want to call it, for embroidery. And it's just so vintage looking. I just love the colors in this kit. And this is like 5x7, and it's very thick cardstock. I keep finding them in my papers, and they make great covers. And then I just bound it with string, 2-hole string closure here. And added some lace and ephemera along with those beautiful Chapter 1 papers that we all love. And here in this first pocket, it's just some tags that I made with some trim here. And this is one of the envelopes in the kit. It accidentally got printed on cardstock, and that's okay. I like it. It's super nice, and it'll hold a lot of stuff in there. You could put your needles in there. And then I love this. This is in the kit as an example, and I actually have some like this, some lace like this. And then here is an original pattern. I'm trying to think where I got this. I think I got it from Souvenir de la France. And I found some crumbly old newspaper that had, a French newspaper that had patterns in it, embroidery patterns in it as well. They did that. They put patterns in the newspapers if you buy French, antique French newspapers. You can get those. Put that in that pocket. And then in this pocket, it says notes. And I just stuffed it full of more of that pattern paper. I like that. That is so pretty. And a little antique fabric here. And then this is in the kit, monogram. Put this back in here. And then this page has a very deep paper pocket. And I just printed out one of the patterns in the kit. And you can store things in here. And then this embroidered piece of flowers, I thought that went in there. Here's another piece of that. And then I found in another antique newspaper or catalog, this says cross-stitch embroidery, and I just put it on some old stained paper. And then here is another specimens of embroidery page from the kit. And again, you could write on here if you want, or store things in here. And here's more of that antique pattern. A lot of patterns, huh? Okay, and you turn the page. And this is a deep pocket. I had a shorter pocket in here, but it just wouldn't hold what I wanted everything to be in that pocket. This is an antique photo, and I just wrapped some of the embroidery thread that I have because I used to embroider. And here's a tag from the kit. I added some of the German tape that I have. And then on this tag, I added embroidered numbers, which are used for laundry. And then here's from that same French pattern page, very crumbly. And then here is another envelope from the kit. You could store things in there. And let's put this back in here. There. I just love that. Put her in there. I'll move this over. And in this side pocket, isn't that pretty? I just made a bundle. Some old paper, book page paper, and fabric, and some embroidered numbers. And then I made a tag. And then this is from the kit. It says instruction, simplified embroidery. And then just an old vintage book page. No, it goes this way. There we go. Then you turn it. This is a little pocket. This is in the kit. This little envelope. And then some of that beautiful lace and applique. And then on this belly band is this little tag from the kit. And then these are textured book pages that I did with some more appliques and lace. And then some tatting on this little old French piece of letter. And then the pattern paper from that newspaper. Put these back in here. I love the belly band. It worked out real well. And then in this pocket, you have some embroidery thread. And this embroidered flower I love. I've been hanging on to it on some tea stain paper. And then a tag. Put the embroidery thread in there. And then I made this little bundle in this little pocket, a book page. You just fold it, makes a little pocket. And the little textured paper with some crochet piece, some tags from the kit, and another piece of that embroidery pattern. These all go in here. And then here is just a antique French note with some lace on it. And then this page has another side tuck, and I added just one copied photo from my collection, and I added it to the tag, and I added this embroidered flower because it looks like she's reading her embroidery instructions. I just made that up. And then here's another tag with some of the embroidery thread. And then here and here is the receipt for all her embroidery thread. It's an antique French receipt from 1891. There we go. And then this is the last pocket in the back. And here's a tag with some string on it and some embroidery thread. And this is one of the patterns in the kit that I adore. And I just added this straight pin with some thread on it. It's just on an old book page. And then here is just an extra tag. So there you have it, ladies. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed creating this. This kit is so much fun. It makes me want to start my embroidery again. I love the back as much as I love the front. It's very pretty. And there you have it. I will be back soon, and I thank you for watching. And take care, everyone. Have a great day.